There you go. I got it better. Now the beautiful hair is living in it.
Say, I want to see.
I about hit the live button. This ain't hot yet.
Doing good, man, right?
Tracy,
Yeah.
you know I was teasing you the other day, right?
What? Oh, yeah. What?
I kind of walked her right pissed off. I was like, oh, just teasing him. It's like you guys want to.
Fight it out or what?
Oh, no.
I fight
Well, it's currently streaming right now, so.
Oh, okay.
getting
So is there
ready to
anything
go.
I can do, or I'm like, are you like, yeah, you've got a cooler phone than I did, so. I've got a nice phone 7.
I put it on mode.
Good.
I've got unlimited.
Are we getting recorded right now? Well, if you have it, then there's no reason.
You can, I mean, certainly you can stream and you can do it.
Well, why don't we just do what you usually do? Or tonight.
Then when you stand up now, and then I'll be there. We'll be holding up the signs for the kids.
Well, like I said, it's in order to do it over my
They're down to the 1 minute, and I'll stand up with it.
It's not going to be that.
Is it easy to name?
Yeah, you can adjust it. You just need to adjust it.
Okay, now I've got everybody covered then. Hey, what's going on? Okay, I'll just take some pictures. Where are you? Okay. Get your car show. That night? Where are you at?
Good evening. Oh, there you can hear me. Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to our event tonight, our candidate forum. I am Joe Reutemann. This is Kay Ryan, and over there is Michelle Schiltz, and we represent Women for Kansas. We are sponsoring this event along with the Chamber of Commerce and the Sumner County Economic Development Office. And we are so happy that we have a good crowd. Thank you for coming. Our Women for Kansas group is not just for women, it's for men too. And we are scheduling a lot of great speakers, and we would love to have you join our group. We meet the third Thursday of every month at 7 o'clock at the Sumner County Economic Development Office, and that is at 314 North Washington. And we're gonna try to have some really interesting speakers, and we've got some of your emails, and we'll try to keep you updated on that. Let's see. I think that's all I was going to talk about. I'm going to turn it over to Kay now. Oh, I was going to read our mission statement for Women for Kansas, very short. The mission of Women for Kansas is to recruit, motivate, and educate women who will actively participate in the process of electing moderates to public office who will advocate for moderate policies. So that is our mission statement. So I'll turn it over to Kay real quick.
Okay, just very quickly, our next meeting is set for August 17th at the Sumner County Economic Development Offices. Right now, we have Anita Judd Jenkins set to speak and to answer your questions about the latest legislative session. She might be called back to Topeka, so that's certainly in the air, but right now she's set to speak. We've also invited Larry Alley and Kyle Hoffman, so we'd love to have you come. Also planned, we're trying to get Dwayne Gosen for our December meeting. Okay, and if you don't know about him, he's a can't miss presentation. Also, the Hospital Association will speak in the October meeting. So we have some great things planned. We would love to have you there. Thank you.
And we would really like to thank the co-hosts of this. Stacey Davis and Sumner County Economic Development has been gracious in helping us put this forum on. Also, the I'm from Wellington Chamber of Commerce, Anna Rose back there. They are also a partner in bringing this forum for everybody to enjoy. Trying to think of others that helped with this, so Linda. She's back there, yes, Linda from Sumner County Economic Development. And now I'd like to introduce our moderator, and if some of you may know him, Matt Moreland. He is from the South Haven area, and he's moderated other forums. He knows the ropes, and he does a good job. And he's totally neutral because he lives in Oklahoma. So, so without further ado, I would like to introduce our next guest, Deborah Norris. And she's going to just give us some little tips and talk about, she is our county clerk. She'd like to talk for just a few minutes before we get started with the candidates. Thank you.
Thank you to the Women for Kansas, the Wellington Chamber, and the Economic Development for hosting this candidate forum. There were two pieces of legislation that passed at the state for changes which affect Sumner County. The first piece is moving the city school elections to the fall. This will be our first fall election for the cities and school elections. The oath for those offices will be taken in January. The second piece of legislation was a new trustee for the Cowley College Board of Trustees, having a representative from Sumner County. The primary is August the 1st. The entire county will be voting for Cowley College Board of Trustees, as we have 4 candidates vying for one position. The top 2 will move on to the general election on November the 7th. The City of Wellington will also vote for city council members. With 11 candidates, voters will vote for up to 3 persons, and the top 6 will move on to the general election. There will be no primary for the school board elections, as there were not enough candidates to warrant such. But all those that filed will be on the general election. Election night results will be posted to our website, www.co.sumner.ks.us, as they become available throughout the evening. After the canvass is completed on Monday, the official votes will be posted. I also wish to remind all candidates that political signs must be removed if they're within 250 feet of a polling site. Some important dates that I need to remind you of. Advanced voting by mail began on July the 12th. The last day to vote by mail is Tuesday, July 25th. This is the last day to request a ballot to be sent to you. This was a legislative change allowing more time for the ballots to be delivered to the voters and to be returned to the office. Advanced voting in the office will begin on July 25th until noon on July 31st. Election day again is August the 1st, polls opening at 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Advanced ballots may be returned in person by 7 p.m. on election day to any polling place within the county or to the election office. By mail must be postmarked by election day and received by Friday, August the 4th. Canvass of the votes again is Monday at August the 7th at 9:30 a.m. This will become the official tally of the votes cast for the primary. Thank you.
Well, great crowd. I want to thank everybody for coming. Take this moment and do silence your cell phones. We don't want to interrupt anybody when they're using their time and speaking. What a great thing to have this many people running for offices. They're surrounded by friends and neighbors, so let's all be respectful and thankful that we have this many candidates showing up. Each candidate will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and to answer the question. All of the board members will answer the same questions. All of the city council members will answer the same questions, city council candidates. Joe and Michelle will be out here timing. At 2 minutes left, you'll see a 2. At 1 minute left, you'll see a 1. And then it's, we'll just say thank you and call the next person. If there aren't any questions, we'll go ahead and get started with the school board candidates. The school board question is just to introduce yourself and describe why you're running for office and 1 or 2 issues confronting schools today and what solutions you might have. So let's start with Carol.
Good evening. I'm Carol Hadorn, and I am running for District 1. I will be running for re-election as I have served for the last 4 years. I have been in education for over 40 years and have been privileged to serve Wellington almost 30 years of that time. Of course, finances are a big part of what is facing education at this time. Although Wellington and we are doing very well. We have had good leadership and have done well. So we have kind of a little kitty that can help us through some major, anything not too major, but major. We have done, we have had our group, and I say that as a group because as a board, you do things well together. And we have a great strategic plan because you have to plan ahead because you never know what the legislature or the government is going to put in front of you. So we try to keep ahead of that. I thank you. I will not be up for until the November ballot.
Thank you. I believe it's Jaron. Is it Jaron? Jaron. Sorry about that. Should have checked. Hello,
I'm Jaron Parsons. I have lived here in Wellington for my entire life. I'm running for school board in District 1 to hopefully bring a level of technical knowledge that will help with the growing pains the school district is going through with all of the upcoming technology changes that they have initiated. Of course, I have backgrounds with finance and running and operating a business here in Wellington, so I'm hoping that will help with all the decisions being made. Thank you.
Derek Herringer. Herringer.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. I'm a little nervous. I'm not real good at talking in front of a lot of people, but I've decided to run for school board here to hopefully bring a level of technical knowledge as well to the school board. I've lived in Wellington for about 5 years. I'm an IT manager at a Triumph Group, and really I think with all the technical changes as well, you know, that we really need to get some people that have technical experience on the board. My wife is a teacher here in town, so, you know, every decision that the board makes affects my life, and I also have children in the school district, so, you know, I really feel that the decisions that are being made have a big effect on my life, and I really just want to represent the community. So, thank you very much.
Next is Larry Mangan.
Thank you. I'm running for re-election in District 2. I've served on the board since 2013. My background is engineering, and I think that background does help with school board matters as well. We, as you all know, we had a big bond issue in 2014, made improvements to all 7 schools in the district. You can see the results, the new parking lot at the middle school, the new gym. But all the stuff you don't see is that we have secured entryways, we have safe rooms in every school now. So I think we've improved our infrastructure significantly in the last few years. Some of the issues that I'm particularly interested in is getting our kids through the school system and out into the world where they can get a good job. Anymore, you need a good background. You need everybody needs a certification, it seems, and that's something that we've been talking about a lot at the school board meetings. Is trying to get our kids up to that level. So that's what I want to do. Thank you.
And Jason Newberry.
Good evening. My name is Jason Newberry. I'm currently serving on the school board. I am with Larry and Carol. Our terms were extended. We should normally be dropping off right about July, but we got extended until November. So I am running unopposed, but I still thought it was important for me to be here so you guys could put face to the name. I love serving on school board. Born and raised in Wellington. Was a Kennedy kid, graduated from Wellington High School. We got some struggles with us, I'm not gonna lie. Main thing, as Carol mentioned, is finances, but we're doing all right. We've got some big projects behind us. We have some big projects ahead of us, and that's a good thing, because we're planning for the future. We have a great superintendent on board. He's making some big changes, and we're looking forward to those changes. And if you got any questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. Thanks.
All right, well, that's the last of the school board candidates. We'll move on to the city council now. The questions for the council candidates. Again, introduce yourself and explain the 2 issues you believe are most pressing confronting the city of Wellington and what your solutions might be. We're going to start with Robert Hamilton. I randomized the names, so it wouldn't be alphabet.
Sorry about that. I love the challenge, I suppose. I am Robert Hamilton. That's the first time I've ever been in front of a crowd this size. I was born and raised in Wellington, Kansas. I've been here all my life, and I'm passionate about politics, passionate about our community. I have been active in the community on several different things. I've been part of Sherry's Army, which is a great program to clean up the community. I've also part of Wellington Young Professionals, which is also a great social group in town. But as far as the two issues that I see the most, besides the economic constraints that we have from the budget, I would say that the hospital is number one. We must find a way to keep our hospital open. Now, I think that in order to do that, we have to look at the entire situation here in Wellington. I think that the hospital itself is an incredibly difficult situation because all rural hospitals are failing across the country. But there are positive things coming from it. I've talked to several of the leaders, in that regard, and I really believe that there are positive things that are happening in the hospital. So what I look for as far as the future council would be to start seeing us reach a break-even point. And once we do that, then I think that we can claim success. I also think that planning for the future is one of the most important things that we can do. I've put on my website, which is wellingtonkansas.net, and anybody that wants to see what I'm specifically for or against, you can certainly go there and check me out. But I want an overall vision. I want the council to come together and plan to put all of the aspects together. And I think the way to do that would be the comprehensive plan. I've seen every city in our area has one. And I mean, it basically gives us the picture of where we need to go. It gives us all the information, and we haven't had one at all. The council hasn't. I mean, I think from what I understood, it's been 17 years since we've had a comprehensive plan. The other issue is, I mean, streets is going to be a huge issue in the city. I think that our residential streets are crumbling faster than we can fix them. That issue is based on budgetary constraints. I mean, you can throw as much money as you want at the problem, but it's certainly difficult to balance all aspects, but I think that in order to actually solve that situation, I believe that they're doing a great job. I talked to Jeremy this morning and saw the 2014 plan, and their program and what they actually do is way more advanced than anybody really understands. And I'm hopeful to get that information to the public, because I do think they are solving the situation. It's just a matter of communicating that to the public. So the interface between the city and the public has been lacking, I believe. And I look to expand that communication. That's what I think, and I've preached this. Anybody that's ever known me, as I believe in dialogue, I believe in listening to every single person, and I believe that no matter if we perceive it to be negative, I think that it's still critically important to listen to those viewpoints. I personally would like to expand the city website and get most of this information to the people where they need, and they can make determinations prior to decisions being made. Other than that, I hope to symbolize a younger generation as far as our future, and all the statistics show that the baby boomers are retiring. The older generation is anyway, I've been flagged now. To finish up, I will say that we have to start attracting a new population in order to grow our situation. So in order to do that, I think that we have to carve out a path in the budget in order to create quality of life issues. So thank you very much.
we try to keep a little tighter. Yeah, Allison is not? All right. Then Kent? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kent Douglas. Not a lot of people know me. Moved here with my wife Amber 10 years ago. Lived here in Wellington. Currently working as an engineer for Spirit Aerosystems. Thing about myself, I pretty much live my life by the terms of anything is possible if you're willing to work for it. I'm a hardworking person. I do not back down from challenges. I think there are a lot of things in Wellington that are good and a lot of things that could get better. I believe in community and that the community of Wellington is pretty much, I'm trying to figure out how to put this. The community of Wellington is a great thing. People come together, they're passionate about their beliefs, and I'm hoping to make changes for Wellington that help benefit the people. I talk to people in Wellington, the main issues I get through is talk to people in Wellington and you hear about the hardship, like people having financial issues due to our utilities, our taxes. I hear stories, heard one from one individual where a lady is struggling to keep her home because of the financial strain of our taxes and utilities. To me, that can't happen. The city should be working for the people and not against people. I hear other people that are saying, I'm retired, I can't make it here on my income. We shouldn't have people leaving, we should be having people come in. We should be trying to build a foundation for the community that helps everybody grow, everybody prosper. I don't think anything that we do is impossible. I think we're making a lot of good decisions. Callie coming in, I agree with Callie. I agree with, like Robert said, keeping the hospital. Why? It brings jobs, it brings safety, it brings opportunity for Wellington. I think some of the decisions that are being made could be changed so that these certain platforms could be pretty much grown. Sorry for my stumbling. I got a lot of thoughts going through. I'm trying to get them all out so they come out correctly. That's just it. I think that we are on the right track. We are moving forward correctly. I think with a different way of looking at things, a different perspective, a different mindset of what type of decisions being made, that the opportunities, the sky's the limit. One of the main concerns I had again with the utilities, I thought that just the way of looking at it could have been. I thought when I listened to it the other day, if anybody watched the council meeting, Mr. Valentine himself looked at it and said, okay, we're signing up for a new Kansas Power Pool. That's perspective 20 to 40 years. Okay, and I thought they brought up a good point, said, can we afford that as a people of Wellington? Okay? Well, think about where you were 20 years ago and how much things have changed since then. So being able to go back to the table and negotiate something like that and say, yes, we could agree with being a part of the Kansas Power Pool, but maybe 5, maybe 10. That way it opens up different opportunities for us in the future instead of locking us into something that could potentially hurt us or keep us where we at. I'm about growth, I'm about opportunity. We all deserve a right for something better, and I'm hoping to be able to use my passion and my drive to help the people, everybody, not just certain individuals, but everybody, from our lower incomes to our highest income. So I believe we all have a voice, we all deserve a chance. Thank you.
Tammy?
Well, I want to say thank you for taking us time to come out tonight in this heat and everything. And I want to say thank you to the people who organized this. Well, my name is Tammy Klein-Nist. I'm the administrator at the nursing home out by the golf course. I have been here in Wellington for 5 years, and I absolutely just love this town. This town is amazing, and there are a lot of gifts and a lot of things, the tools that we can use to move forward. I believe that the community of Wellington needs to get back to the basics. We need to have a sound budget, and we need to follow that budget. That's imperative. We need to make sure that things are set in place, and that later on down the road, we don't pull from this budget to make something like this happen over here. As an executive director, that's one of my things that I do in running this multi-million-dollar business of our healthcare nursing home. And something that I have to be responsible for is that fiscal integrity. I really think that we need to be watching that a little bit more in order for Wellington to grow. I also believe that Wellington needs to have some visions and some places. How are we going to go forward? What's our plan in 5 years? What do we have set up? What kind of collaborative efforts have we made in bringing other groups together to make Wellington better than what it is? I believe in the transparency. I think we need to be transparent in order to get things accomplished. That's how I run my business up there at the nursing home. I lay everything out on the table, and anybody that knows me through that aspect knows I do not leave stones unturned. And I am not afraid to confront. And just about 2 weeks ago, I confronted our corporation on something that I believe in, and I stand on it, and I will support it. I also believe that we need to establish what's a community checklist. We can always say we've got the streets. We can always say the water and electricity. But what is it that getting down to the root cause of some of the issues that we have as a community, how can we find what that root cause is? And if we can find that root cause, I guarantee you we can start moving forward. And we have to be able to determine what that is and get a workable solution. And that involves a lot of people, just not people on the city council. It involves a lot of people to help. There's a lot of many opinions within the community, and Wellington is a great community. We have amazing tools. I think one of the things that we need to do is we've got this I-35 corridor. People from all over the United States are passing through, and the signage out by the I-35 corridor to bring them in to see what we have here, there's a few signs that it's almost non-existent. And I think we're missing something there. I think we're missing the signage just within Wellington. And I'm gonna stand on this like I did when I ran for mayor. That street called Washington Street is not called Main Street. When I moved here 5 years ago, that was one of the things that was really difficult when I'm trying to get directions around town. I didn't know where Main Street was. I went past Washington, I don't know how many different times, because they said, well, you turn left on Main Street. Well, I didn't know, and as a visitor, now I live here, now sometimes I catch myself doing that, and I have to backtrack because I remember my own personal experience. But those are the kind of things, those are small things, but to people coming into the community, those are big things. Those are huge, and I think we need to be looking into that as well. I think some of the landscaping for beautification of downtown is important. I think we also need a theme. The downtown needs a theme. What can we direct our businesses down there to build a theme so when people are driving down Washington Street, they see something that's common. We've got our Crusader Pride, we've got our Wheat Festival, our Wheat Capital. We've got so many things important here that we could really focus on and build. Finally, I really believe that I am qualified for a position as a Wellington City Council. I've got a lot of strong business experience and in budget management, quality measures, and marketing. I have a history of achieved results in making things happen. I've been on the Wellington Planning Commission since 2013, and I have enjoyed learning a lot about things that involve the regulations and all of the city ordinances and development. I want to learn more. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. And the only way I am going to know is if I step into that position and I learn. I can only learn so much from the outside, but when you're on the inside, you learn so much more. And the other thing I want to say is I am not afraid of challenges. I am not afraid of stepping up when I believe something is right. I believe that we need to serve the people, and that is what I stand on. I am here to serve Wellington. Wellington has been amazing for my personal life, my professional life, the life of my son. And I want to give back what Wellington has given to me. So my signs said, "Talk to Tammy," and I stand by that. If you have any questions or concerns or want to run something past me, please call me and talk to me. Thank you.
Kevin?
Hello, my name is Kevin Dodds, and I am running for council. I'm an electrical engineer at Learjet. I've worked at Bombardier Learjet for 22 years. I've stayed committed to my job, and I've continued to excel and to climb the ladder. I could have easily taken a job where I could have found a niche and been comfortable for years and years, but I chose to keep challenging myself and bettering my position until the point where I did become an electrical engineer out there. Through my experience, I've learned a lot of things about, if nothing else, change management. The changes that corporations go through can sometimes be painful, just like the changes cities go through can be painful. But there are ways to deal with those. And I think I can bring some of that knowledge to the council chamber and help with some of the changes that the city's facing. Some of the biggest challenges that I think the city's facing right now, and one is our finances. I've been attending city council meetings regularly for several years since I first got interested in the inner workings of our city, because I realized I'd become complacent and I relied on others to make the decisions. I relied on others to make this town better. I realized the fallacy in my thinking, because it's not up to others to make this town better, it's up to me. It's up to each and every one of us to try to better our community, to try to grow and to try to prosper. And I've seen this community do amazing things when they come together. I've been party to several benefits in this town for people who are suffering from illnesses. And I've seen people who don't like each other walk into the same door and buy a plate of food to support a cause. That is what this community is about. That is what it means to be a community. To be able to lean on each other, depend on each other, support each other. And yes, we don't all agree on the issues. We will never all agree on the issues. But everybody has a valid input, and everybody deserves to be heard. And I do have to agree with some of the communication issues, but that's a two-way street. And I found that out myself. Nobody came to my door and told me what was going on in the city council that I should be concerned about. Nobody goaded me into investigating certain issues. And then I started hearing about things that made me curious, made me wonder. And that's when I got involved. And that's what the citizens of this town need to be, is involved in our community. Don't depend on somebody else to make it. I cannot make this community better by being elected to the city council. But I can make this community better by being a good neighbor, by being a good friend, by being willing to lend a helping hand when somebody else needs it. If I get elected to the council, I vote one vote. But what I will bring to the council chamber, hopefully, is a common sense approach to the issues that face this town. And I am the type of person that I like to look at each situation from all angles, even if it's opinions that I don't agree with personally. It's not my personal opinion that matters on the council. It's the community's. I will listen. Talk to me. I will listen to what you have to say. And when it comes to August 1st, the election, to narrow it down to 6 candidates, I hope you will pick me as one of those candidates. But more importantly, in November, I hope you will pick me to represent you on the city council. Thank you.
Kathy's next.
I'm Kathy Haycock, and I'm running for city council, and it's a little joke because I followed Kevin the last time we spoke. I really, honestly can stand up here and just say ditto. We've got passionate people running for the council, and I'm very proud to be a part of this group. We all basically want the same thing. I totally agree with, my main thing is we need a strategic plan. A lot of these issues that come to us at the council, they never should go there. Everybody knows, like, you know, are we a family-friendly town? Is this what we want to do? You know, the consumer consumption area, that really wouldn't have probably came up at that point. Or we could discuss it more with community, but we have an image that we want to uphold. And so if we have a vision, we already know where we're going to go with this. If we have a vision, we know where our finances should be directed. Like, everybody's all about growth. I like growth. I like progress. But right now, we're kind of backsliding a little bit. And that's, you know, our utilities, you know, did we need to do it? Yes. Our taxes, you know, they're getting raised. Well, that's because we're kind of bleeding a little bit financially. But I believe in, let's take care of who we are right now. Let's take care of the people here that have our tax base, that are paying utilities, that are paying the taxes. And let's think a little bit outside the box of how do we increase our tax bases? Who are we going to get here? What's possible? And I agree, this is a wonderful town. I have been here for 15 years. I've been other places. My whole family lives here. I only have one brother-in-law that does not live here, and I'm the baby of 5. So I want this to be a great town to continue to live in for all the decades. My mom's, you know, 78, so the hospital is very important to her. It's very important to me. Fixed income. I know my mom lives with me. I can't imagine if she didn't live with me how she would pay, you know, for medicines and utility stuff like that. So I'm very impacted by that. All the way down to the babies being born, going up through, you know, what is this town to offer? What image are we giving them? You know, drugs, everything that's going on, you know, how is that impacting the whole age group, and what kind of school system do we have? What are we representing? So I am very passionate about how I can be a part of the process to help form the decisions that we are making. I'm one of these people that I do listen to all sides. Now, I won't always agree with you. I'm one of those people that if you ask for my opinion, sit down, hold on, I will tell you what I think. I will listen to what you have to say, and I will definitely take that into account. And I'm willing to change my opinion or learn another side, but I'm also one of these that I will tell you what I think, I will defend what I think, and I will vote what I think. But that being said, I'm not alone. I believe in having mentors. I found wonderful mentors throughout my life. When a question comes up, 2 main questions, hospital and golf course. So when they come up, I will definitely tell you my opinion. But the golf course, I didn't really know a lot about, but I found somebody who did, and I got a different perspective. So from an outsider, you know, why are we spending this money? From an insider, this is why we're spending the money. I am great at talking to people, asking questions. I had a chance to ask Shane Schultz about annexation, and I have to say that's something I love about my city management is they're approachable, they took the time, answered my questions, and believe me, if I don't know the answers, I will ask the questions and I will hound you to death until I'm satisfied. And then I like to spread that out and tell people, you know, I want to come from a basis of knowledge, I want to be educated. If you got a question and somebody says, why are they doing this? I will go back. If I don't know the answer, I will ask the answer and I will let you know what that answer is. So again, I think that we've got a great group running for city council. I think vote with what aligns with what you believe in. Vote for, you know, where you want the city to go, what you think we need to be doing. I can't talk to everybody. I don't know everybody. I do have a Facebook page. It's Kathy Haycock, Wellington, Kansas City Council. If you want to know really what I think, then, you know, SRMC is on there, budget's on there, everything like that. Feel free to go there, browse around, and ask me questions. I would love to talk. Thank you. Have a good night.
Jennifer Hershey.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Hershey, and
I care very deeply about this community. I was born and raised here, and when I came back with my children, I wanted them to be proud of this community as much as I was when I was a child. I have a great passion for being involved. If you want to make an impact in your community, you have to be involved. So I sought out ways to get involved. I've been on the Planning Commission for a year and a half. I've been on the Wheat Fest Steering Committee. I'm a member of the Wellington Young Professionals. I campaign very heavily for Cali College because education is important in our community. What I do for a living, I work for the workforce centers, and my job is to help people find work. My job is also to help the businesses that are in my community grow, help them strengthen their workforce, and help them have opportunities to expand. I think we've been very successful in the last year with that aspect, but I want to do more. I think having the college come into our community is really going to help a lot. Education is important, training is important. One other aspect and a challenge that I see that we face tremendously is our hospital. It is crucial to a community to have a hospital available. Our hospital employs 130 people. If we didn't have that hospital, those 130 people would not have jobs. Would they be able to find them in this community? Probably not. So there's an impact right there. Economically, there's an impact. The people that work in that hospital spend money. There's, I believe, 6.9 million, close to 7 million in income that is spent in our community. So that would certainly decrease our revenue and our tax base if that went missing. I strongly support the hospital. I was lucky to meet with a couple of the hospital board members as well as the CEO and some employees and listen to their concerns and offer them my views as well. I hope to do that more as we're going through the campaign process. I'm reaching out to the senior center. I hopefully will be able to talk to as many people as possible on the 31st. I'd really like you to come out if you have questions. I'm not a politician by any means. I am a citizen that is passionate for positive growth. I want to make this community as strong as it can be and allow people the opportunity to move in and be proud of where they live. Thank you.
Kim Woodruff.
Hi, everybody. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to come see us. And ladies, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity. Kevin, you're a hard-act father. I'm one of the retired baby boomers. I retired from the Boeing Company 12 years ago. I spent 36 years there. I started as a sheet metal mechanic and retired as an industrial engineer. Industrial engineers fix problems, and that's what I did. And I'm looking, we got problems, but they're not unsurmountable. We can fix it. And I just lost my train of thought. Yeah. I've listened this evening, and people have laid out what they perceive as problems in our town, and they're right. The way we're going to fix it is to bring industry into this city, and I'm talking big industry. We have aircraft and machine shops north of town, but they cannot possibly hire everybody that is going to come out of this new college. So what we need to do is concentrate on getting more of the same. And I will work with Anna Rose and Stacy we'll do what we can, but that's what we've got to do. Otherwise, you're gonna be able to shoot a cannon down Main Street and not hit anybody. You can about do it now. I remember when Wellington was a thriving town, and it was because of the railroad. The railroad died out, so you've gotta change. That's what we can do. And that's how we're gonna do it. And I can help. That's all I got.
Mike. Hello, I'm Mike Molman. I run for city council. I've lived here, born and raised, lived here my whole life. Have a family here, own a house here. I work locally at GKN here in Wellington. My kids are growing up through the school district. They've made family friends, like hopefully lifetime people that they'll get to know for long after I'm around. And it's just thoughts like this and the fact, I consider myself to be very involved in the community already, regardless of this topic or running for council. I do in the neighborhood of 400 hours a year of community service. This goes across rec center sports teams, between 5 and 7 a year. Help with Miss Anna Rose every year she's been in office, and before that with Shelley Hansel with the Wheat Festival on their planning committee, out there at events. Anything they ever ask, I'm out there trying to help her do better and help that thrive to be better for the people of the community. Fall Fest, side jobs, we all know about the lot by Walmart. That's not even included in the 400 hours. That's stuff on the extra that I do because the people of the community find issues that they have a problem with, and when they speak out as a whole, multiple people, not just the 1 or the 2 people, but a large group of people, it's time to start focusing on fixing that stuff. Not with your mouth, but with your hands. I talk to tons and tons and tons of people, almost every week, to the point to where I can't hardly go to the stores because it takes me 2 hours to go there and do anything, because people want to ask, what do you think? How do you feel? What do you want to do? It's simple. I hear all these great ladies and gentlemen, they talk about budget, which is a problem, in our hospital, and multiple other things that they're absolutely right. But one thing they fail to mention very much is the people of the community. And when I say people of the community, I mean, we've all seen it, several of us, addressed by the mayor in economic development about issues and complaining and this and that and all the other. That's people with problems that they feel, whether or not they're legitimate or not. At the end of the day, that's the community speaking out about problems they have and they want to see something done about. They don't want talk, they want action. As somebody who is out there in the community all the time, I pride myself on being a person that likes to fix. Not talk, like to fix. If there's a problem and I have a chance to be part of the solution, I am part of the solution. We talk about our children not having things to do. I hear it day in, day out, all year long about children that we find themselves on high school kids' teams because we can't get enough people that care to show up and coach teams to help better these kids. Anna Rose will tell you day in, day out, it is a struggle to get people to come out and volunteer to help with all these community things that need to be done so that we can grow close together as a community and not far apart. That's what matters. All these topics that all these ladies and gentlemen addressed are issues. But what it boils down to at the end of the day is what is in the best interest, health, safety, and well-being of the people. That is what matters. What can we do to make sure that our people see Wellington as a place that they like and not a place that they're stuck? That's the question. That's the problem. We say we're growing. Almost every numerical data that I've shown shows a trend of people leaving. That's true. 7,200 to 7,400 people in this town. That's one of the lowest we've had. Mr. Hamilton pushed for registration votes. Still 40 less than what we had last time. Vacant houses all over the place. I think I had heard somewhere 40% of rental houses in our town are rental houses. Half of those are vacant. That's the problem. People do not find that our place is a place that they can make a home, whether that's utilities, whether that's taxes, whatever the case may be. There's ways around those. You make people feel pride in their environment, pride in their town, and they will deal with the other stuff. They will. But if you don't give the people a voice, stand up for your people, care for your people, and show them that their voice really does matter to you. It isn't just something we say so that they smile and look real friendly at us. That's what you've got to do. Because until you do that, you're never going to be able to fix the rest of the stuff. You're not going to be able to deal with budget because you're losing people. And the more people you lose, the less money you have to deal with the budget. So all the problems you have boil down to one thing: the people of the town and their happiness. I hope you all vote for me August 1st, or at least come out and vote if it's not for me. Thank you, guys.
Joe?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming out. I want to thank all of your organizations for putting this on. My name is Joe Sawyer. I was born and raised here in Wellington, Kansas. My mom and dad are Manuel and Sabina Sawyer. All my kids have gone to school here, graduated. I've got grandkids that are starting school here. One already graduated. The reason why I'm running for city council is because I just got tired of sitting back and just watching things happen. And we have a lot of issues, folks. We have a lot of issues, but we can fix the issues. Everybody judges over the city council. You're not going to make everybody happy. But I'm running because we need to get common sense back in City Hall again, okay? We've got to go by a budget. We have to stay with the budget. I worked for a software company for 42 years, retired. So now I have a fixed budget, and I also work for my wife now since I'm retired. But when I worked for a software company, it was a 500 Fortune company. I worked myself from the route all the way into supervision, all the way into management. And when I got into management, I had to work with a budget. We're not working with budgets at all whatsoever. So we got to get back to common sense. And the city council itself has to get together and get along for one thing. Okay, we're not going to agree on a lot of things, but let's just try to get along. And we need to work for the people. We need to work for all you people out there. And that's my biggest concern. I hear things that, why is our city going down? Why do we have so many black houses? Why is the neighborhood looking so bad? If we get stuff like that fixed up, we can get people back in here. How do we get people into our business, back into business downtown? Is it incentives? Do we need more incentives? Do we need to look at the building codes? Is something grandfathered and then it's not grandfathered for somebody else? That's the stuff that we need to look at. One thing, and there's another one, the hospital. I believe in this hospital, folks. And there is 133, there's 97 families, 97 people that live here in this town that work at that hospital. And they have families. So that hospital is the anchor of Wellington. We have to find a way to work to keep this hospital open. I'm hearing good things right now. I'm hearing positive things. I'm hearing with the new management there, Dean and his staff, they're trying to turn things around. They're working hard. And what I would like to see happen is maybe down the road that we could get them all together and have a big meeting and they can tell us what they're rolling out, because right now there's a lot of negative media that's against that hospital. And when you start believing negative media, you need to find out for yourselves what's really going down there. And they are turning things around. The employees, they're so pumped up right now because they're willing to help to get things turned around. So I believe in the hospital. And you're not going to talk me out of that. Before I leave, I would just like to also We need more people to show up to city council. Because if I'm elected and I'm working for you, because I'm gonna give you my 150%, but I'm only one vote. And if you have issues, you need to come down there. Don't be afraid to get up and talk. They're not gonna eat you, folks, trust me. But you have to, you gotta help us out too. I mean, we've got some good ideas here, but we need you, the public, to come down and voice your opinions. It's a two-way street. Another thing is, the city council is a governing body, and it's elected people to serve our city, but they also serve you, the taxpayers. And that's what I want to do. I want to serve the taxpayers. I want to turn things around in this town. We have a lot of issues, but guess what? We can fix those issues. And please, I'd love to have all your votes, but I know that's not going to happen. But if nothing else, when you walk out of here tonight, give your free right. You've got your right. You've got the freedom to vote, folks. You've got the freedom to vote. And if you sit home and complain that, well, nothing's going to change, well, nothing's going to change because you sat at home. So use your free right to vote, please. My dad always told me when I turned 18 and I started complaining about stuff and I could vote and everything, he says, did you vote? I go, no. He said, shut up and sit down then. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. So I tell that to my kids now. So thank you very much.
All right, well, that was 9 of the 10 that I had on the list. Is there another city council candidate? City?
And they forgot me. And I get to close the show. Probably my main concern is the hospital. I do not want to see our hospital go away. We've had several touch on this issue, that issue, another issue. I'm going to bring up another issue. The ambulance service if our hospital should go away. The direct blow to the city alone is probably around $800,000. You have to buy more ambulances. You have to have a place to put them, so you have to build a barn to put them there. You have to hire the employees. That is a chunk of money right off the bat. They're still going to have to pay the insurance on it, lawn care. All of this plays a factor in our hospital going away. I don't like the sound of that. I'm hearing excellent things coming down the pike from our hospital. I have faith in the people that are behind this movement forward for our hospital. I think it's imperative that we all hang on, have faith, and let them do what they're doing. I believe that we're going to see some wonderful things with the new behavioral unit is going strong, I hear. Okay, my second thing. There's a lot of things I could talk about. You people don't have enough time tonight. So I'm going to go with infrastructure. I'm going to go with streets. I think we're moving forward. We've seen some overlays that look very nice, but I'm talking sewer lines, water lines. All of this stuff is very, very expensive. I was on city council, very privileged to be a member from 07 to 11. And these same problems still nag and still hang on, and they're still there. Council members work, someone said, as a governing body. It is one entity that needs to work together. You agree to disagree. With the hospital, you have to work with the governing body of the hospital board. they're there. We have not, as candidates, none of us have been privileged to the executive sessions of the hospital board or the city council. There are things that we are probably unaware of. I believe that we need to work together as a team with all the entities out there, all the boards. You can accomplish a lot. But first and foremost, it's the people. We are elected to serve the people, the taxpayer and the citizens as a whole. Apathy is one thing that is pretty clear around here. People are afraid to come and voice their opinion. I am not one of those. I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell you exactly what I know, even if you don't like the way it sounds. And I appreciate that coming back to me. I want a true, straight, honest answer from everybody. I'm a hometown girl, born and raised here, ran a business for 40 years. I'm also privileged to be the hairdresser, what used to be Golden Living, and now is Botkin Health and Rehabilitation. And I'd appreciate your vote on August 1st. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
All right, now we'll hear from the Cali College Board of Trustees candidates. We'll start with Brian Fitch. And the question is, as Sumner County trustee, what direction would you like to see the Sumner Cali campus take? Is Brian here? No, no Brian. How about William Butts? Okay. I know Glennis is.
This is one of the few times in my life when I haven't been last. You know, Zimmerman usually brings up the rear. I'm Glennis Zimmerman, and I believe that what we are doing, having Cali College put a campus here in Sumner County, is something that will directly change the town and the county and our kids. I have been for 26 and a half years in education. That doesn't count my school board experience. I was 16 years in Wellington, and I look around the crowd and I see some of my former students and colleagues as a teacher and then as the assistant superintendent for the Wellington School District. I then went to Winfield and spent another 10 years as the assistant superintendent over there. I then decided I hadn't had enough education when I retired, and I've spent 8 years on the South Haven School Board, 3 of those as president. My term ends in January. But I don't want to be done yet, and my experience, I believe, sets me in good stead to be a trustee for Cali College. I've seen all sides of education. I know what a good teacher looks like because I've been there, and I've also had to evaluate teachers. I have been on the administration side in curriculum, but I've also been on the administration side in budget. I had to manage the budget when I was in Winfield, and I also helped shepherd a bond issue through and then supervise the construction of the new Winfield Middle School and projects in every other school in that particular district. So I know what school is about, and colleges are like high schools and grade schools when it comes to those things. I also know that it takes a different approach when you're on the board, because the board's job is governance. It's not running the school. It's working on the policies that the administrators use to run the school. And I understand that side of it. So when I look at the Sumner County campus, I think, what does Sumner County need? And what do our citizens need? And what do our students need? And when I look around and I hear that in this country today, there are 4 million science and technology jobs that are unfilled because we don't have people to fill them. And 10% of the ag jobs in this country are unfilled because we don't have people to fill them. And then I think about the Sumner County campus for Cali College, which is going to focus on IT, industrial technology, with all the things that entails, and on agriculture. And I think about my experience right now as a farmer, because I'm also that. And when I started farming, I ran a 930 case tractor with no cab, and you had to crank the radio all the way up to even hear anything because of the roar of the tractor. And today, I get on my tractor, and it's not a new one. We are not the most modern farmers in the world. But I get on my tractor, and I push a button, and it drives itself across the field. And I just turn the corners. And when I think about that, and that's the future, folks, and that's a low-tech future, that's what this can bring to our kids and our county, is training that will prepare our kids for the future. Because that's where they're going to live. It isn't where I'm living right now. They're going to live in the future. As I think about it, I want that Sumner County campus to not stop there, though. I want it to look at other things that this county needs. We know that TACT and Triumph all have needs, and we're trying to fill those. But what other agencies are going to come in? And we need to fill those as well. And so I want us to look at that expansion and say, what other programs can we bring in? Maybe we need fire science. Maybe we need EMTs. We don't know yet. We just know what the focus is. But I know that I will, if I am elected trustee, help look at those things and put them forward so that our campus expands and we don't have to worry about it going down the tubes. And I would very much appreciate your vote on August 1st.
Okay, Kay Ryan.
Hi, thank you all for coming tonight in the extremely high heat, and this is a wonderful crowd. Thank you all very much. I'm Kay Ryan. I have taught English and journalism for 33 years. I also taught, after I quit teaching at the high school, I taught 3 years as an adjunct professor of English at Cali College. So I see both sides, from high school and from a college perspective as well. I lived in Sumner County for 40 years. In July was our 40th anniversary. We moved to South Haven on a 4th of July weekend, and we just realized that this summer. I grew up in a state directly south of here, and I grew up on a farm. And I was thinking about it this summer that the year I was born, it must have been a good wheat year because Dad bought a 1953 GMC truck. And my mom liked to tell the story that she drove the truck to Perry, which was the co-op, and she put me on a pillow beside her and drove 30 minutes to Perry. And I don't know about you, but men are very strong, but I don't know many men who could drive a manual transmission GMC truck with a load of wheat behind her. And this was in the days before we had a bed that would rise and fall too. So I don't know what maybe that's why I have allergies, I don't know. But I don't know what she did with me when they had to raise the truck up. But anyway, that's what she liked to talk about. One of the reasons I was so excited when I heard about the Sumner County campus, because I'm passionate about learning, I'm passionate about school, and I want to see this campus succeed. But I also want to make sure it's accountable. It holds great promise for us, but any board is only as good as its members. So I want to make sure we hold it accountable as well. When my husband and I moved to South Haven, Cali College at that time had 2 ag instructors. And that was at a time when, I don't know if you know Rodeo Meats, or at that time it was Marinure. We had a great agricultural base there. We had a lot of good things going in Ark City too, but it was just a lost opportunity. We had a strong ag chapter in South Haven, and my husband was the ag teacher, but we had a strong ag chapter, and we still do have a strong ag chapter in South Haven, in Wellington, now in Oxford. So it's just a missed opportunity. And now I'm so excited when I heard that we were going to have ag classes there, because over the years when my husband has taught, his students have gone to various places, including four-year institutions, but they've also gone to community colleges, like Hutch is one, Allen County's another, just various ones. But it's just a lost chance, and it'd be wonderful if we had that chance for our students in these campuses to go to school here. I'm also excited for the chance to have a skilled workforce. It's so important. We have a chance now to attract other businesses, and I know the city council people have talked about that tonight, but one thing that attracts businesses, I know, is having a skilled workforce. So I'm very excited about that chance. We just need more businesses to come to Wellington, to South Central Kansas, to help all of us. But it's a great chance. Another thing, it's affordable. Cali likes to have as their motto or an adage that it's 1/3 the price, but affordability allows students a lot of things. And one thing is that it allows them the chance to see what they want to do and want to pursue, but allows them the chance to know what they don't want to do. I had a student once that I talked to him, and he said, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I want to major in statistics. And I go, that's great. But he was a student, he was interested in music, he was in orchestra. And I go, Nick, are you really sure you want to major in statistics? He goes, yeah, I love baseball. I love baseball stats. And I go, okay, go for it. Well, I saw him later, and I go, well, Nick, how's college going? And how's stats? And he goes, oh, I quit that. And I go, why? And he goes, well, it's just too much math. and I try not to laugh, because if you're a teacher, you hear these stories all the time where students really didn't know what they were getting themselves in for. But having an affordable place for them to go to college is really important. And by the way, the student ended up going to McPherson College, where he studied auto. Yes, it's the only college in the nation, I think, that has that. So, who knows what students are going to pursue. I also would like to be on the trustees to make sure that we try to keep it as affordable as possible. But we also need someone on the board of trustees to make sure that we hold our legislators accountable as well. Our higher ed has been gutted by the state over these last years. In 2015, 2016, the governor cut $63 million from higher ed. That includes $5.5 million from community colleges. And it's going to take years to get over that, but we need someone who will not just support more money. We need someone to advocate for that, because when students graduate from high school, especially I'm thinking about the students I have that we all know that can't afford college. We need to make it affordable. We need to make sure those students have a pathway to success. And I want to make sure that our legislature goes a different pathway, and we have a good foundation for that with the new tax base. How much time do I have? I'm done. I have one more story.
Let's give another round of applause for all the great candidates. And I do want to particularly thank the Women for Kansas Sumner County group for putting this on. Great job. That's all I have, other than they do have some of their information on that table if you want to pick up a card. Okay, Joe, come on.
Thank you so much for coming. I think it was very successful. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. I don't know if you're interested after the primary having another candidate forum of the narrowed down candidates. If you would like for us to do that or get involved with that, please let us know. The other thing I hate to do is beg for money, but we don't ask for dues or anything in our Women for Kansas. So we do have a donation bucket over there. We do have some postage and some different things that we have to pay for. We'd like to get a little bit more signage. So if you could come up with a couple dollars, we have a little bucket over there. And I think that's all we have. We stuck to our time pretty good, I think. Oh, thank you, Matt. He was a wonderful moderator. We love And thank you so much, Candace. We really, really appreciate you coming out tonight, and it really helps to get to know you. And if you'd like to mingle around a little bit and talk to the candidates, I think we can get them to stay for another 10 or 15 minutes till we have the place. They've got the air conditioner turned down really good, I think. So you're welcome to come up and ask them some questions. So thank you so much again for coming.
All right, that is the candidates forum. I do apologize about the sound. I couldn't